What else?
Gausman now 3 runs in 5 starts against the Yankees. Is there ever like a logical explanation for something like that, or is it just?
No, Kevin's a good pitcher. Kevin's a good pitcher. He's had a great look in his eye for about a month. Not that he hasn't before. It's just there's a real, just a real driven look and a real presence about him. He doesn't, he's felt like he's really kind of hit his stride. But he's been solid for us for a while. He's in a good place in the process, so to speak.
What you guys all learned about Tillman's situation during Gausman's start against Washington? So pretty much since you've known that, he hasn't given up a run. I mean, in 3 starts with Tillman basically looking like he's going to be out, he hasn't given up a run. How important is that presence right now?
Well, it's not just him. We play 4 other days. I knew he had an extra day this time, potentially an extra day next time out. So you're thinking about that as you're going through the games. But that's not something that guys need. They've got enough. I don't want to say pressure, but need to pitch well. Whether there's always somebody step up. Your number 1 starter is the guy that's pitching that night. I've said it many times. The guys, they don't get involved in those type of things. I think privately, who knows, but. They've responded real well to it, if that is the case. But it's not something that we gather them together and say, one of our better starters is not going to be pitching, so we want you to pitch better now. I mean, that would fall underneath the Captain Obvious again. But they get it. And this time of year, if you're reciting the obvious to them, it's really, to me, almost a slap in their face.
Look, that play with Manny to Chris to end the 5th. One of those.
Wow. There's a lot of good third basemen in the league. Nobody makes that play. The arm strength to throw, to have that type of velocity across the diamond and throw on a move. There's very few days go by that I do not take it for granted. None of his teammates do, and none of us do. It's a huge play, and did a lot of good things defensively. But to throw a 0 up there 2 nights in a row, that's been the key. But having plays like that made behind you, he makes a play. Just and I hear people talk about, what about this guy? What about that guy? What about this guy? And I go, yep, he's really good. He's not as good as Manny.
Well, yesterday you said that this team was, its identity was hitting home runs, but tonight 1 earned run and you still win. So, what does it say about the Orioles that they have that sort of versatility?
Well, it had something to do with the pitching. We scored 2 runs more times than not in the American League East. You're not going to win that game. So the pitching was the key. And I was looking today very quietly. There's nobody that has less errors than us in the American League. And very quietly, these guys have gotten, just grinded out the things that they're good at, and that's why we've got a chance here in September.
You passed Miller Huggins for 25th place on the wins list. Does that mean anything to you?
It means I'm old, and that I remember, if you pass somebody that the teams that you've been allowed to manage allow you to, then and you've played on fields that were named after those guys, you know how old you are. I played on, it seemed like I played on 2 or 3 Miller Huggins fields. Something to do with the Mets or something. Miller Huggins shouldn't have anything to do with the Mets. Maybe it was Miller Huggins down in spring training. He's more well-known with Yankees, right? It's even better.
There was a pop-up Ellsbury hit the end of the 8th inning, the last play. It was really interesting to watch Jones veer off because he knew J.J. was going to make the play. It's a good question. That play comes from teammates knowing each other. That's why this time of year, when you're starting to bring in some people from the minor leagues or from other organizations, you got to put in that time. But it's the way that Wayne and Kirby and the organization teach it is the infielder stays high, the outfielder goes low. You stay away from collisions. Those are designed. We practiced in the spring where the outfielder goes feet first, if anything else. It's that tweener that neither guy can take charge of and call. So it gives the infielder the confidence to go full speed, knowing that he's not going to get hit
head on head, and that's what we don't want to have happen. So infielder knows that the worst that's going to happen, he might get his feet taken out from him with a late slide. So if Jonesy can't make that call and JJ can't make it, they both get to continue towards the play. There, Jonesy got out of the way, but if you'll see during the season, the shortstop stays high, second baseman stays high, third baseman, first baseman stays high, and the outfielder's always coming in. They go feet first. Is the way we, I should say teach it, but we talk to players about and come to agreement that's the way we're going to do it. And knock on wood, we've been able to stay away from injury over the last few years. It was a long answer, but it's a real fundamental play. I see people all the time, they peel off on balls because they don't follow that rule of thumb.